So you've prepared a great meal in the wood oven, and now you want to make something for dessert. Something like some freshly baked, warm chocolate chip cookies. I've made these before using some retained heat when my oven temperature has dropped to around 360 Fahrenheit or 182 centigrade. And then I've baked them for around 20 minutes with the door on. But I want to make these right after dinner so the cookies are fresh and warm directly from the oven. I could just let the fire go out and wait for the temperature to drop, but even with the door off, that's going to take too long in my oven, and it's not enough time for the heat to even out across the dome and the floor. So I actually want to make these by maintaining a very gentle fire in the back of the oven by using maybe one, perhaps two small pieces of wood. That will greatly reduce the radiant heat from the fire, but will help maintain the convection heat that's circling around inside the oven. And when I'm ready, I'll place the baking sheet near the oven opening where the temperature will be closer to what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm going to try. Cooking in the wood oven is always an adventure. And if I was making these in a conventional oven, I would just close the door and leave the cookies alone to rise without being disturbed. So I'm not sure using this method if they're going to turn out exactly the same way, but I'm willing to give it a try. So first I'm going to go over making the cookie dough, which I made yesterday, and I'll explain why shortly. So to begin with, I have 225 grams of unsalted butter that I'm going to brown first. I'm going to put all of it in a small saucepan and then place that in the oven. I'll swirl the butter frequently until all of it has melted and come to a boil. Browning will add a wonderful nutty and caramel flavor. I'll continue to cook, and when it has turned a golden brown and has this lovely toasted aroma, I'll add all the butter to the mixing bowl, including the little brown bits, because they hold a lot of flavor, and set that aside to cool. Then in another bowl, I'll prepare all the dry ingredients. That's 250 grams of all-purpose flour, 6 grams of salt, and 8 grams of baking soda, and then stir them to combine. Next, I have 300 grams of dark chocolate. I like to use some that has a 70% cocoa content, and I'm going to chop all of it into large pieces. Once the butter has cooled, I'll add 125 grams of white sugar and 175 grams of light brown sugar. Then using the paddle attachment, I'll mix them together. Then add 28 grams of softened unsalted butter. And mix until creamy and smooth. On a low speed, I'll add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract and 2 eggs, one at a time. Then add the dry ingredients. and mix at a low speed to begin with so you don't disappear in a cloud of flour. And scrape down the side of the bowl to be sure that everything is mixed together. Once everything is combined, I'll add all the chocolate pieces and fold them in with a spatula. Then cover and let it sit for about 10 minutes to firm up a little. I have a baking sheet that I've lined with some parchment paper. Then using a 3 tablespoon scoop, I'll portion out the dough onto the tray. It's better to shape the dough now, otherwise it'll be much harder trying to scoop it when it's cold. It should make about 15 cookies. Okay, so why make the dough the day before? During that time, the flour will hydrate with the butter, giving you a firmer dough. And a firm dough will prevent the cookies from spreading too thin and still give you a soft and chewy center. Also, they'll develop a lot more flavor overnight. On top of that, I can bake as many as I want, and the rest will keep for up to 48 hours. But if you don't have that amount of time, try making the dough the morning that you're going to bake them. Now that I'm ready to bake the cookies, I'll line my baking tray with parchment paper and space out 6 portions of the chilled dough. Then sprinkle over some flaky sea salt. The side of the tray that's facing the fire is going to get the most amount of heat, so I'm going to rotate it several times to be sure they all cook evenly. Because they're quite visible in the oven opening, they're going to be easy to keep an eye on while they're cooking. These look great. Now, if I try to remove these from the pan too quickly, they might fall apart. So I'm going to let them rest for 5 minutes and they'll settle and firm up. Then they'll be ready to serve. I like to serve these with a scoop of ice cream and some grated chocolate.